ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Joy of Painting, episode 3, with me, Jack Ross. And hoping you are having a lovely evening. It is a beautiful day, I have to say. It's gorgeous, absolutely lovely. I had to stop myself from actually going outside and going, oh, it actually is today is the stream and episode 3 of us continuing this bad boy of Ludo. So as you can see, this last time we left him, it was Agric Surfshade, and we have now got to the stage where all the detail has been, well, you can now see that it's been heavily washed with Agric Surfshade, and we are ready for the next step. So today, in today's episode, we're going to try and get the hair onto its final stage, and so it is properly nice and finished. For the time being, because I may go back and actually change it in the future. However, with the skin, I'm going to try a different technique this time. So I'm going to use the original old school technique I spoke about last week, which was the base shade, and then you mix in the base and layer, then the layer, then the next layer, you mix in with the next layer, then go. It's easy, honestly, I swear. It is very, very simple. So let's go through our equipment again as always. So I'm going to use my trusty friend, the Broken Toad miniature brush, series, well, 2, which is Miri's, I think it's series 3, Kalinsky Sable, and I'm really enjoying using this brush. It's actually quite good for the old busts and getting a lot of pay on it, so quite handy. I've got my trusty, again, not that brush because that's too big. One day I'll use this brush eventually. Where then, if it gets to the point where I'm going to need something a bit more with a steady hand, we're going to use one of my favourite ones, which I was recommended by Brush Demon, Winsor Newton Series 7. Now, these ones are always one of the painter's choice. The finest sable, I've used them countless times, and they are beautiful to use. Absolutely lovely. So I'm going for a number 1 there, because I don't think we're ever going to use a 0 on a bust, but future episodes you may see me use these ones to do like the tiniest details. And finally, the paints. Let's talk about the paints. So today, for the hair, we're going to go with Fire Dragon Bright from Games Workshop. This is the Citadel range. This is where it's going to go over the top of the hair, and it's basically going to bring out the final highlight in Ludo and make it a bit more messy, because you obviously can see from the picture down below that it's never really going to be a very bright-ish yellow, orange, yellow. What was I saying yellow for? But this should bring out a bit. But if it gets a bit too bright, we can always dull it down in the future. So don't worry about that. And then for the skin, so as you saw, we used Agric Surfshade to completely strip it right down, back to its basics, so we can now see the detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the next step, which is still Legion Drab, but a mix with Tallow and Sand. And this will kind of give them like a mid-tone to then go on to the top. And then the next highlight will be just Tallow and Sand. And then the next one will be Carrick Stone mixed with this. And a final highlight of Carrick Stone. And that's when we're going to try and then get inside those little cheekbones and then potentially see how we can kind of draw out those colours in, like if you again see down below on Ludo's picture here, you've got his black nose, he's got a bit of colour of like blue and purple. It's like the slightest bit of purple and blue, but that will be something that I'm going to use a glaze for, but we'll get to that when we get to that. What else is that? Oh yeah, and the final piece is the old trusty wet palette from Red Grass Games, and I have to say, with this little get up I've got right now, it is perfect. But I have to say, the XL one, I would prefer the small one. So the new one, if you go check them out on Kickstarter, there's a new one which is going to be I think that size. I think with a new kind of way. I can't remember exactly, but it's like it's obviously a new wet palette. It's something very snazzy, something really cool, and I think it will definitely be something to look forward to in the future. Any comments, guys? If you're online, thanks. Hi. Thanks for joining me. I know if you're on Facebook, that's really my God, that's a lot of people on Facebook for once. Lovely to see you all. I would love to comment, but I can only use what I've got here. So if you want to if you want to watch on Twitch, go for it. Go. You can go on Twitch, and if you want to type and stuff, go for it. But if you want to watch and kick back and relax, go for it. That's all. If you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. Just enjoy my lovely painting tutorials and see if you enjoy it. And then the next thing I want to quickly talk about is it's nothing to do with Ludo, but it's something that I've wanted to show off for quite some time, and that is my boy Gazcool Fracker. So I would love to be able to zoom in, but I'm just gonna have to do this and get there. We go. So this has been literally hours in the making. Hello, how are you doing? I'm not bad, man. Yourself? I will type. I will respond in a bit. So this has been a long time coming. So I got this when he first came out with the Blood Wolves, Space Wolves, and I have been wanting to paint him, finally finish him for so long. But now he is done, and I'm happy to report that he is one of my finest miniatures I've ever painted. And yeah, thank you very much, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, he's one of my favourites, and he's going to be coming to a tabletop near you sometime when lockdown kind of finishes. So, without further ado, let's start with this painting. So, we'll get on to our trusty wet palette. I'm going to try and make this a little bit more. There we go. This may go so well, it may not, but we shall see, because I've literally got the wet palette on the edge. So if it falls off, it may be game over, but we'll see. Yeah, remember, there's no mistakes. It's only happy accidents. That's all that matters. So where did I put the laser brush? Right, so let's get on with the old stream. So we're going to get off Fire Dragon Bright, give it a shake. Don't forget to whack the Chaos Gods out of this paint, no matter what. Always. Because the Chaos Gods are nothing compared to the Orc Gods, Gork and Mork. So on to the palette it goes. And again, if you're just joining me or watching this on YouTube, one of my reruns, the wet palette basically means that I can use this in the future. So if I want to have a break, I can then put the lid on it, and then if I'm mixing stuff up, I can come back to it a further time. So bit of paint on there, and literally just a little bit of water on there, just a bit of give it a little bit of control. So sometimes, actually, some people have asked me in the past, or you may have experienced this yourself. I know, always dangerously. Have you seen the wig in this heat? This is going to be crazy. So you might see, maybe not, but on the tip there can be. Can you see? Can you? There we go. Maybe. Come on, focus. Maybe not. So sometimes the hairs will kind of sprout out on the edge, on the tip. So literally just grab it and try and get the point. Or if you're like me, just use your tongue just to put the point back to its proper point. And yes, your tongue will eventually start to look like the colour you're painting, but who cares? It's your hobby. You enjoy yourself. So I'm actually not too bad. Honestly, it's actually really it's cool in here because I've got a fan on, so I'm like, I'm quite nice and chilled in here, literally. So let's start with this. So I'm sorry for the quality of the camera because it keeps on auto focusing. So I'm going to get a new one eventually, but we'll see. So the trick is with this is just keep making sure that when you do this, it just goes on the tips. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to leave it in the recesses. So this is going to take a little bit of time. But leave it in the recesses so it kind of gives that look. And you maybe sit back thinking they're going, but Jack, it's not gonna, I can see from here, it's only gonna, it's leaving some black marks, or you can see through. But not to worry, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a couple of coats on that. But again, it's just leaving it to dry, and then coming back and going over the top. Because this process is not quick. That's one thing I've found with highlighting. Because in the past, I've, oh, here we go, we're gonna go on a tangent again. I always find to go on these tangents, but it's fine. Um, I'm figuring out that it's trying to, if you go over the paint, yes, you can, it's good, but you'll find yourself then getting it, what's the word? It's kind of the paint builds up and it doesn't seem to basically work. Um, it needs to be nice and fluid and nice and straight, like very natural. And the reason I'm doing the hair first, not the skin, is because if I mess up the hair, as in if I can, if it comes onto the skin of the horns, then I can then go back. And the best thing about wet palette, the best thing, it is boiling outside, absolutely roasting. But you can then come back and you can find that already the paint I've put on here is already painted, already dried. So you literally go straight back over and kind of fill up those black recesses. So what's been happening in the world of gaming? Pretty much, not much. Well, I say that it's been quite interesting. Games Workshop's announced that they're doing the next Gaunt's Ghost. I think maybe. Um, the new Karagnos book came out, which was very cool. I've yet to pick my copy up, but I'm sure with the GT coming up, well, when they eventually go back to having the GT, I will be getting myself one of those bad boys. But I tell you what, one thing I have to say, and I've been talking this with some of my hobby mates, is that you look at Karagnaros, and yes, he's really cool. Yes, he's awesome, but he looks like a centaur. Obviously, because he is a centaur, but it just doesn't scream orc destruction god like a centaur doesn't. A centaur reminds me of like I don't know wood elves or beastmen of chaos or something like that. Not a destruction god. So I'm there going, okay, that's fine. It's nice that you've done that, but I just don't think it could have been better. It could have been so much better. Like there was a character that I loved when I was younger. Was a guy called Kolek Sun Eater, and he was the son of Karanak the Black, and these are shagoths, and shagoths are creatures of great power, and they basically were around during the if people remember the what's it Warhammer time. Sorry, I've got to get that. There's that bit of hair has come up, so I have to whack the devil. Sorry, whack the Chaos God out of this paintbrush. Get it back to a point because that really frustrates me. But yes, Karanak the Black. So dragon ogres are, like, as the name says, they're half dragon, half ogre. Um, and they were in servitude to the Chaos Gods because they gained eternal life uh, for basically to serve the Chaos Gods. Now, as much as I think eternal life is all gravy and all, I don't think I'd want to like serve the Chaos Gods. It's just not my thing. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of bowing to a Chaos God. Not a chance. Like even when Karagnaros was announced, I was there like, my ogres don't bow to him. Not a chance. Not a chance in hell. I don't care. You may be a god, but a bit of a couple of moo cows coming right at your face are going to stop you. And that might come back and bite me in the butt in the future when I play him. But I do own quite a few woolly rhinos, and the woolly rhinos do quite well at going moo. Well, that's my cows, I guess. I have my cows, and I've got my rhinos, my woolly rhinos for my Rhinox riders, and oh, I miss them so. I miss my Rhinox. I say I miss them; they're just currently under my bed. They were my pride and joy, especially when I worked for Games Workshop, because I adored those miniatures when they came out. Like they just like an ogre on the back of a really like angry rhino who does not want to be ridden and just will get very angry if you do anything wrong. and oh, it was perfect. But then when Games Workshop decided to get rid of them, I was very, very upset. Very, very upset. So what I do when you've got an upset 18-year-old, sorry, an upset 21-year-old with no sense of money, you panic buy, and I panic bought a fair few. And when I say a fair few, I mean about 25. 25 Rhinox riders. So if anyone is watching this and saying that why they missed out on Rhinox riders, it was because of me. The box I received, oh my goodness, it was lovely. It was just great. I had to hide it in my room because my girlfriend at the time was like, "No more hobby," and I was like, "Oh God!" So I had to hide it, and it literally, no, she didn't find out, and now she would. But we're not together anymore, so it's fine. um, so yeah, they were my pride and joy. So just to take a little break and show you. So as you can see, if I can move that light for a second, so you can see already that we're getting a little bit of highlights on the hair, which is good. And you may notice that it's not as clean and straight as it would be, but we're going to go back in a bit and then we're going to glaze it all together. So basically it's getting the initial highlight on there and then we will glaze it all together. Now I'm saying this as I know what I'm doing, but I'm sure as you're well aware, everyone, people that know me or people that don't know me in terms of the hobby community, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just guessing. I'm just making sure that I'm having a good time. And to be honest, painting this Ludo has been really fun. Once you get into the swing of things, oh, it's beautiful. And I will stop putting my fingers on the hair every time. I'm trying to like make sure that I'm making sure it's perfect. I'm there going, no, don't touch it. Just touch the back. That's fine. Not the front. Anything but the front. But I can see already I'm enjoying this. I'm liking this a lot. Whack the Chaos Gods. Always remember to whack the Chaos Gods out of that brush. Unless you're a Chaos player, because then praise the Dark Gods. Whack the Emperor out of it. It's always like there's always a way to get around this. If you're a Chaos player, if you're an Orc player, if you're a Xeno player, it's great. Just not Eldar player. Can't stand Eldar players. Can't stand them. And that's a story for another. Is that a story for now? Yeah, it's a story for now. Why the hell not? So let's roll the clocks back. I swear, at this point, you probably know that now that I will go into tangents, and that's absolutely fine because you get to hear about my hobby stories, and it still brings a smile to my face when I think about the crazy things that I've done during this time, and like 20 years, 22 years now. I think I've been doing this hobby since I was. Wait. Oh God, I can't do maths. I can't do it. Anyway, 22 years. So let's roll the clocks back to the GT in Brighton. And oh, that was fun. Oh, that was so fun. But back then, I was using what was I using? No. It wasn't the Brighton GT. It was the GT hosted in Woking. So the Woking the Woking Weird Boys at the time, ran by James French. He basically got to host the UK GT in Woking, which was wicked, and it was great. It was such a nice thing to have like Woking on the map in terms of like the hobby community, because the GT is a very prestigious thing. Well, back then it was in terms of like not being linked to Games Workshop as much as it is now. But it's still a wicked thing. Um, but one of the games there, it was the first time that I introduced Steph. And Steph, if you do not know though, she is my second lover. She is my huggly snuggly bear. She is she she is a stomper, and she is the bane of existence to many people. No matter what tournaments I go to, no matter what, I will try my best to get to use Big Steph because I just love her. I think she's one of the coolest I think the Stompers, when they announced that they were in tournaments, you could use Stompers. I was like, you could use Lords of War. My eyes just lit up, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That's gonna be rock on. That's gonna be sweet. Not so much for people playing against them though. It was a bit of a palaver. So back then it was, you had knights, you had just everything going. Yeah, we're now legal. We can now to completely destroy everything. And I was there like, I want to put orcs back on the competitive map again. And I thought Steph was gonna be the thing. So I played against someone, and surprise, surprise, he had an Eldar army, and this was back then when it was very much wave serpents and fire dragons inside or stuff, so you could hide it, and it was very difficult. But at the time, I was there going, right, I'm not having these Ponzi Eldar being absolute making me look bad. So I've just got a hatred of Eldar. I just hate anything elf. They smell funny. They look funny. I don't like them at all. Just no, absolutely not. Sorry, Kevin. I have to say, yeah, oh, it's fine. It's not gonna be. It's all right. I'm not gonna die in this heat as long as I've got a fan on. As long as it doesn't. I said that, and literally it started to not working, and I was like, I need this because it's like that scene in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 2 when he's in a rhino trying to sneak up on someone, and we're not gonna get to that level because I am not stripping down. This is not my OnlyFans. That is where you go to that place of the painting with Jack after dark. That's that's what you need. And just to the moderators, I don't have that website. It is not it's not a thing because I know how sometimes the algorithms can pick up on it even if you speak about it. So I do apologize, and this stream may be taken down, but let's hope it isn't because I enjoy these streams. So where were we? Where were we? Oh yeah. So Steph. Steph was the way I worked with Steph was she basically inside her because she could transport orcs. Inside her there was 20. No, I am not painting someone like a French girl. Not a chance. Later. No, that's for the private. That's for the private time, Kev. Like, let's wait for a bit of a certain time for that. Yes. Sorry. Yes. I love it. It's great. um. So yeah, Steph was inside Steph. There was two big mechs and 15 orc mechs, or some kind of combination between mechs. But mechs had something called mech tools back then, and mech tools was simply you roll a dice at the start of a shooting phase. For every roll of a five up you rolled, you basically got a wound back on your tank. But when there's 15 of them or 17 of them inside a stomper, which has got a fair amount of wounds, it fixes quite well. I was quite surprised because you get to roll 15. I was go wee. Oh, I just got back 8 wounds, perfect. And you may be seeing that going, oh, but that must have been easy back in 7th edition because she's only armor 13. She could have been easy destroyed. I was like, yes, she could have. But I was really sneaky, and inside the Stomper there was a custom force field, which was the Snazzy force field, and I think it was called it was called the Mega Force Field. And rather than a 5-up invulnerable save, it gave you a 4-up invulnerable save. It may not have been good in combat, but the look on people's faces when you say this massive Titan is not going to die, and you mean it's not going to die, you prove it's not going to die. You're like, oh dear. And behind this army, there was again, sorry, the brush tip's been a bit of a pain. Come on. What was I? Yeah, behind there was a war boss casually sneaking with his heavy armor with 30 lads, 30 boys in behind, um, attempting to outmaneuver people and then come behind and start to take over the back objectives. And people were like, "You're joking, right? How is this guy in with a massive power claw? How can he sneak around? And I'm like, began. Says in the rules. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And I was competitive. Oh my goodness, I was competitive. I miss those days. Like, I'm a lot more chilled out now. A lot more chilled out. But if I've seen people playing and they want to play the big game, I'm like, yeah, go on then. I'll bring the big game. Um, but unfortunately, back then I just I couldn't do it now because I just don't know how the game works anymore. Like I've been out of it for so long. Not really out of it, but I've been focusing more on like my real life stuff and my gym work basically. So I'm looking forward to actually getting back into the swing of things and actually doing the things I love the most. And as I've said before, what I will be doing is when the new Orc book is comes out, I will be doing a live stream reaction. And anyone that has seen me giggle like a girl when something new comes out, oh my goodness, I love it. And literally I just want to see how big these squigs are going to be because the squigs just they look so cool. Just a massive amount of just think like a space hopper with teeth. That's all you gotta think about. A space hopper with teeth. And literally they will come, bite your face, and then run away. I say run away. These snagger boys seem to be not the nicest people, not the nicest orcs, because they will come up and they will eat your face, and then eat another face, and then keep going, and then keep going, and keep going. It's quite terrifying actually. Because you can with orcs, you can be quite sneaky if you wish, or you can be quite upfront. And me being an orc goth player, it's very much I'm in the mindset of I'm going to eat your face, and then hit you with a massive stick, and then hit you with another massive stick, and then run away. Because orcs is never run away. Orcs is never lose. If they run away, they come back for another go. If they die fighting. And if they win, they win. So I think that's quite reasonable. Orcs never lose. And that's what makes me smile, because orcs never lose. I think there was yes. No, I finished. I think I've closed that tangent. My goodness, the first time I've actually closed the tangent. My goodness. Normally, like the tangents go like going like one direction, another one, then back to the tangent, and back again. That's great though. I'm happy I've done that. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Orc book, especially with the new rules, because I've with Gazcore in mind, it's going to be very very interesting because I'm looking at in the future doing a lot more tournaments, and these could be independent tournaments. These could be tournaments in Warhammer World. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do. And my aim, honestly, is to. Thank you very much, Kev. It's been lovely seeing you. Thank you for joining me. It was lovely. Thank you very much. Um, it was. What was I going to say? Yeah, my aim is to basically have an orc army which looks lovely on a tabletop. Now, people that know me in my hobby groups will know that I'm not. I lose interest quite quickly. Um, but this is why again I've set up this stream so I can then off off the stream I can actually make videos and put them up on YouTube and show you guys. And one of the things I was thinking about doing, and I would like to get your response with this, if you wish anyway, if you want to comment below, chat now, whatever you guys want. If you would like to I'm gonna do a video sometime. Whenever I get some time. I'm gonna do a video about how I do orc skin, because the orc skin that I do is I picked that up from a guy called MK Paints, um, and I have to say the skin tone is beautiful. Like my for Gazcool, that was the thing that took up most of my time. But yeah, and even though you don't see a lot of the skin because it's covered in armor, I still prefer to make sure, like, even if you can't see it, it's done to a decent standard. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but I think in my ripe old age of becoming 30, I like to be a bit more precise and to take a bit more pride in my miniatures because I in the past I was that guy that turned up would turn up to a tournament, spray black miniatures, and then three stripes down the back of them, and be like, "That's three colours." I was that guy. I was that guy, and yeah, it's not my proudest moment. But back then, I very much was very into the game, want to win. But mostly, I would lose, to be fair, because back then, it just my brain wasn't functioning. And to be fair, it hardly functions these days when it comes to gaming. My only idea of how to win is just going straight forward and be like going, yep, I'm going to attack you, I'm going to charge you straight ahead, and literally go, no, that's it, game over. But half the time, it does work. Half the time. The other half, not so much. But I am enjoying what I've got. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay. Oh, Adam, Mr. Wilkins, thank you. Sorry, I've just gone onto my Facebook so I can see the comments. Yes, Kez, I am in a wig. This is Jack Ross mode. I am enjoying the joy of painting. It's lovely. It's meant to be very calming and like very nice and chilled and yeah, yeah, very chilled, very chilled. Mr. Wilkins, yes, I will be doing an orc skin tutorial. I might do it as a video and put it up on my YouTube because then I can edit it a bit more because my aim is to get it done within an hour. So I can do a boy from start to finish in an hour. That doesn't include basing, because my basing is you need to do a lot of astro granite and a lot of how can I explain it? It's you use cork, put the cork on, and then basically put one layer of the what's it called? It's basically the cracking paint. You do it orange, you crack it off, and then you basically highlight it and stuff, and you put like goop, the Noble's Rock goop inside, and it works really well, really well. But again, it's just I want to try and get that for every single orc. But the problem is I have 100 currently 120 orc boys that need attention, and pretty much in the moment that is every single orc. Every single orc I have needs attention. And I'm not including the new beast snaggers because that will be them on their own as well. So I'll have in total 120 boys and then 40 beast snaggers because I'm only gonna buy one box. I'm not gonna be greedy. I'm only gonna buy one box because I only want one of everything because snake bites have never been my biggest choice of orcs. They've never been like, sorry, I do apologize everyone. I'm trying to get the model so you can see it as well. I'm trying my best to yeah, it's no snake bites. Snake bites aren't my favorite orc clan because they think of the old ways, and I'm sorry, but an orc boy that believes that grots can be useful, I'm like, no, get away, off you go. Grots are literally good for stepping on, and that's about it. But apparently with these new rules, and this has been quite cheeky, it looks like that with the new orc boss, you can actually get super grots, and they actually look quite effective. And I'm like, ooh, this could be very interesting. This could work. But again, with my armies and stuff, like I've never really needed to do it because I've always had stuff inside transports. So just gonna take a quick break and show you. Take a look at that. So with the hair, yes, it looks like a bit like noodles, but it looks quite nice. I'm actually quite surprised. I still shock myself sometimes. I still shock myself. So if you can see that, guys, the hair is looking quite snazzy. Win. Absolute win. So I'm going to keep on looking at the old hair. So what time we got on the clock? It's now 35 minutes past. So I'm gonna stop doing the hair for the moment because I'm gonna clean it up later if I get time. I'm gonna show you about the skin because that's the one thing I was gonna show because some people have well, I'm sure people have their own painting styles. People will want to do like the GW style of, base coat, wash, then layer, and that's absolutely fine. You do what you want. People might want to do the dip method, which I have yet to try, and I still refuse to this day because I remember I have a very vivid memory of someone literally getting an orc boy or something like a model or a zombie in my opinion, just literally doing the base coat, opening up a tin, putting it in with like a pair of pliers, and then just giving a massive shake, and that was it. And I'm like, no, that's not painting. That is not painting. You can do I mean, you can kind of say it's like the contrast way. Because the contrast way is pretty much doing the same thing that the dip does, but easier, and it smells a lot better. Because that, oh my goodness, that paint, that oh, it smelled that tin. It was awful. What would you say, Adam? Yeah. I think the I like nowadays is a lot more therapeutic for me just to paint and just enjoy it. Because I just don't. It's just nice. It's just nice to sit back, like with a beer or like something with a cold beverage, or just chill. Because I mean, normally I would have music on, but with the old microphone and that, I don't think it would work or it'd be static, and I don't want that as well. And again, it could cut me off in certain places, and then we don't want that at all. So we've got the hair done, or like pseudo done. We're gonna go back to that in a minute. We're gonna let that dry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the skin. So when I say about the old method that I was taught, this is when I was going back ages when I was a kid. You get basically your base coat and your next highlight, and you mix together. That's all you do. So turn on sand. Oh no, that's Deno Still Legion Drab. That's the one. So a little bit on there, and again using the wet palette to keep this because we can go back in the future if obviously we don't use all the paint, and then get the new paint, which is what was it again? Tallow and sand. That's the one. Tallow and sand. Just whack the chaos gods out of that, or shake the chaos gods out of that, because it's a brand new paint. And then put it next to it, and then what we want to do is basically in the middle between the two, just mix together. Because then what you're going to have like a mid tone, and the mid tone is going to help a lot because I I prefer the mid tone. I prefer this method because it just gives you a bit more control. Because I like the gradual tones. But again, I'm still trying to learn this myself because it could be to the point where you've got to be so not careful, but you just have to be a bit more patient because it's rather than sharp highlights, you're going to do it gradually. And that's one thing that I still am trying to learn myself. So right now, this is a mix between the two, and that's a bit liquidy. So let's try and do a bit of Ludo. Wish me luck. So let's try with his mouth to begin with, or his face. We'll go for there. So we do. And again, the same thing. We're just gonna try and keep where the where the ink is. Try and keep it away in there so you don't cover up the ink work. So again, this is gonna when I mean that, I mean the ink work in the recesses. So again, we're going to try and be we're going to be in try as gently and as a bit of time as usual. So a lot of bit of water on there, just to be a bit more thing. This brush is just still is giving me a bit of aggro. I don't know why. Oh, there's a bit of. Oh, there we go. There we go. Like, okay, let's get his mouth done first. So we're going to try and just keep going very, very slowly about this. So we're just going to do little baby strokes. And don't worry if it's too light, because once it dries, it'll go a bit darker. Basically, we're trying to basically make sure that we don't go over all the recesses. So you're more than welcome to like keep it going, but it's just the recesses. But if the recesses go cover up, don't you worry, because you can always go back. Now, I do apologise, I feel a bit nervous because I'm still trying to get used to this. So, because I'm very much a perfectionist. If it doesn't look right, I don't want to do it. And it's literally, it's like you can like pretty much talk about like David Attenborough. It's like, and now we see the young Jack taking his time over a model and doing the best he can and not trying to look like an absolute moron. Because it's so much fun. So what was I saying? What was I talking about before we got to this stage? It was orcs. We talked about orcs a lot. Any of you Gaunt's Ghost fans out there? I'm not a big Gaunt's Ghost fan because it's not orcs. But they have got they're releasing a new book next week, which is really quite cool. Again, something very limited edition like, which is always very nice. But something that I'm very much like, no limited edition stuff, no more, no, because I've got to figure out what I've got to do with the orc stuff. So we're going up into here, up we down, there we go, la di da, and then there. My goodness, trying to get this to look nice is just, it's always that worrying thing for me. Like, it might take, again, as we've done before, like it may take a couple of coats. But as long as we've got the basic like layers on there, that's absolutely fine. So, ooh. So you're trying to get this. There we go. There we go. So effectively, with a flat surface, it's trying to get your basic. It's trying to get everything in one go. One thing I also was going to say, try and paint in one direction. Not the band, because they suck. Just try and take it slow and steady. So under here, with the highlighting thing, you're trying to basically get where the sun would hit. But I still think with the cover up, I still want to cover up most of his skin with this. Because then what we'll do is when we do the next highlight, it will be like, so even you can see now, if you look on the side that we've done, it's drying darker, which is good, and we can just go over the top. So if you see any more black marks, you can just get rid of them. But then it's the face, and it's like, gotta make sure it's right. Because even if we can go back, it's absolutely fine. There's his nose, so his nose bone where it is. And then his little face. The one thing that I love about wet palette is that it keeps that wet as best you can. And then we're going to keep going forward down to his jaw, then do a nice little and then we go like that and that and that, and then we do this and we do that. I feel like I'm just making it seem easy, but it's not. It is not easy, absolutely. So if you're joining me right now, or you've just joined, happy birthday me, happy very unbirthday. You see, this is how tired I am. So this is episode 3 of Painting Ludo with me, Jack Ross, and we're we're just doing the first of Ludo's face highlights, and it's now time to get that in. So what I'm trying to think here, as you always know, is that I'm gonna, once the stream is over, I'm gonna go back on an evening and just basically make sure that this, all the black stuff is all done. So don't worry about this, because it may look messy now, but I can assure you, once it's done, once we glaze it all back together, it will look absolutely lovely, I guarantee. But it just needs that little bit of uncertainty first before you get to the main good part. And as I always say, or Mr. Ross would say, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. And I'm trying to remember that most of my life at the moment. So we've got that there, and just there. We're going to have to go back. And there we go. So that's not bad done so far. Gonna remix this because it looks like, you know, a bit of a remix. I am very, very tired. I'm very, very, very tired. So we'll go back to Steel Legion Drab. And then we'll go to tallow and sand and mix it back together again to get to the same consistency as that. So you can see, the reason why I've done it is so you can see that was the original and this is the now. So you're always going to have a reference and you're always going to get the same shade. Because if you don't have that, then it's like trying to paint in the dark. And I've tried that. It's not good. So there we go. Right, circle. Just very, very slowly get this done. See, definitely with the bust, it seems as though it's a very time-consuming process, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. So I'm going to try and start on here because I've looked at the time. I'm going to try and get as much as I can done. So straight down. So leaving a bit of the original colour. Oh, pinky problem, pinky. And then we're going to go up, down, do. And then we're going to do this side. I am Jack Ross. I have so much fun on this stamp stream. So much fun. So we're going to the back of his neck, or the top of his head, sorry. What am I saying? Back of his neck. And then we're going to go up here and we're going to go straight like that. Whoop. And this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting. So up we go. So don't worry about this bit here. We'll just scrush it off and we'll go back and do it more times. Once that paint's dry, it'll be absolutely alright. And then go back over that. See, I can do these bits fine. It's the faces I don't like doing. Because the faces scare me. People's faces scare me. But it's getting a bit more happier. A bit more Ludo. So you'll notice that I'm doing a lot of just brush strokes like that. And I think it's because I prefer doing it this way because you can then pick out detail. And again, I'm learning slowly with busts. And it's just a very unique way of painting from a guy that does normal miniatures painting and then going to bust painting. And I do apologise for being very quiet, but I just want to make sure I get these done to the best of my ability anyway. Because I am having fun, a lot of fun with these. But it's just very, very time consuming. And it's just trying to get everything done to a decent standard. And the one big thing I always say to people, the one big thing is you may look at someone and go, their stuff's amazing, why can I be like that? And I always go, because I'm a very big like advocate of this, or I believe it myself, is that you've painted what you can paint, and as long as you are happy with what you painted, your work is a masterpiece. Basically, your work is a masterpiece. Um, because if you're happy with the stuff that you've done, if you've done enough and you are very happy with it, then then you, my friend, have done what you wanted to do. And that's the joy of painting. That is the joy of painting. Because you can have someone who is a master level painter and they can do a masterpiece. But you can also have a masterpiece because your level of painting is as good as you want it to be. If you want to spend time doing lots of painting, then crack on, do it. Get better if you want to, but if you're happy with what you're kicking out and you are enjoying your your painting, go for it. Enjoy it. Absolutely enjoy it. Because for me, as I said many times, I've always been a gamer, not a painter. I've never really fancied it. But sometimes I would like, you know what, I just want to have some time to myself, even if it's just for an hour, and just paint and just enjoy it because it's so therapeutic. And you get to the point where you enjoy your own company and you actually look forward to painting. And it took me a while to realize this. It really did because when I was younger, I never would expect it to be saying like, no, I can't do hobby. I haven't got time. I've got real life problems to think about, and it's the truth. Like when I was younger, I always was very much oh no, you've always got time for hobby. Like my life's gonna be a roll around Games Workshop, and it changed. Your life, your pros in life change. And that's cool. That's fine. But one thing I always remember from a very good friend of mine, Mr. Joe Logan, is always you can always make time for hobby. Doesn't matter if it's just literally 10 minutes reading a book or it's spending a whole day of just painting. That's doing hobby. And you can always make time for hobby because you can always, because the thing is you've got to realize is hobby in jargon, I guess, for GW guys is anything. It can be reading, it can be researching a new army, it could be researching your current army, you could be looking at the newest stuff that you want to do with your list, and do what you want. Like it took me a while to realize that, but he's true. He's right. As long as you want to do your hobby, and if it brings you joy, you do it. Do whatever you think, whatever gets you going. Do it. If it's not hurting anyone, do what you want. As long as it brings you happiness. Obviously, if you're hurting someone, that's not a good thing. Don't ever do something that makes you happy, which has hurt someone. Absolutely not at all. But enjoy the time you got because you only got one life. And me being very philosophical here on a Sunday evening. I mean, I have had a G&T, but I don't think a G&T is really going to affect me that much. Just one. Um, but yeah, I think it's very much a case of you do what makes you happy. And right now, I've definitely enjoyed these last 3 Sundays, just having a very not a strict schedule, but like enjoying just just painting, just painting, chatting random stuff, chatting to people on the stream if they've made comments. Um, like yeah, it's just great. It's nice to actually be able to talk and actually gets just waffle. I guess is the best way to put it. Um, and it's weird. It's weird. I would never expected it to be like this. Um, um, yeah, it's just very different because I wouldn't expect to ever have been being on a stream right now with the equipment I have and showing people how to paint or how to bring the joy of painting to you, the viewers, if that's the way to put it. Um, and just to show that it's not anyone can do it, even a dumb orc like me can paint and enjoy and make you guys enjoy it. Um, because it's just fun. It's just something that you can do at your own leisure. Um, but one thing I will definitely say: don't do what I do and leave your painting to the last minute. That's the last thing you want to do. Take it from me, because your friends don't like you after. I'm still so sorry. I really am so sorry. Um, because that is taking out valuable socializing time. But then again, for me, it's just I don't really drink that much anymore. I've only recently got back into drinking. Like I've taken a hiatus, and I'm enjoying. I enjoy the more sophisticated things now. The G and T's, the lovely things in life. God, if my younger self could look at me now and go, "You are drinking G and T's, and you're talking about G and T's and having very nice and calming things," I'm like, oh dear, what am I doing to myself? What am I doing to myself? But it's okay because pros change, and that's okay. Oh my goodness me! Look at the time. How does time fly? Literally, like how does this happen? I'm literally just painting and waffling and chatting, and it's already been an hour. Like it's crazy how time can literally just in the brink of an eye just go. And it's been really fun. Um, and I hope you all have enjoyed this time. I will be spending a bit though. I'm not going just yet. I've got a few more paints to do, and a few more things I've got to basically mention before I go. Doobie doo, doobie doo, and so before I wrap up, I will say so. Like in our last video, our last journey in the joy of painting, I said that I would clean up some of the stuff so it's a bit more well, it's ready for the next session basically. So I'll probably do the same with this. I'll make sure that Ludo is his more gorgeous self when we come back for episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. 4 hours on this model, my goodness me. But I tell you what, it's been fun. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this very slowly. And definitely not what I would expect to do on a Sunday evening, but it's all good and fun. So do we do just go out that down there? He's got a massive bag under his eyes. That looks a lot more happier now. Yeah, it's a little tree there. Little tree, little happy tree, little happy tree, little happy face. Because in this world you can do what you want. In this world you can do whatever you wish. If you wanna paint a squiggle on his face, you can do that. If you wanna if you wanna do X and Y, you can do that. There we go. There's still doing up there. So with the next highlight, it's literally gonna be over his. It's just gonna be on his face. Sorry, his face. The light, the highest point. So I'm gonna start getting to where the light would be shining on him, and then pinpointing where it would go. So as you can see, to be honest, his face, in terms of covering, is actually doing all right for now. And I still am quite shocked at how this turned out, in all honesty. And I may not be good at painting. I may not be, and I've never said I am a good painter. Um, but for my first attempt at doing a bust, I'm doing all right. I'm happy, and I'm only being honest because I know I can. I'm always going to learn better because I want to get better. But with what I've got and what I'm showing you now, I'm happy doing that, and showing you guys exactly that anyone can paint. Um, as long as you literally want to try and see if you enjoy it, there's no harm in trying. There's no harm. No harm at all. Because if it brings you happiness, like I said before, you do it. You do absolutely what you want. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands of attendants and the millions watching at home, that's a wrestling quote that we're not going to go into because I'm not in that mood. Not yet, anyway. But I think we're gonna whack the Chaos Gods out of that brush. There you go. I'm gonna put that to the side, and I think we're gonna show off what we've done tonight. And you know what? He's doing all right so far. If we move around natural light, he's getting there. Slowly but surely, he's getting there. Bit more clean up here and there. Hair looks really nice, I have to say. For me personally. But yeah, happy with that. So what we're gonna do, what are we gonna do next week? Or the next episode, if I am to say that. Um, I am thinking about doing his next highlight. So that's going to be where I'm just going to do a straight highlight of Talaran Sand. So that'll start to bring out his details. And then what we're going to do is with the hair, I'm going to go over it again, just make sure it touches up a bit more, and then go from there. But the next step, the big step, is going to start doing his eyes, and that is when I'm really going to need to focus on the eye technique and going to try and do as best as I can. So, and what I will also be planning on doing is I'm going to do, as I said to you guys, is I'm going to do a orc skin tutorial, and this will be a video that I will post up on my YouTube page, not a live stream, because I think people will want to have that use in the future, because you never know. Well, orc skin's a bit of a tricky one. Like, do you like pale stuff? Do you like dark stuff? Do you like mid tone? It can be anything really. It can be absolutely anything. But I just want to show you guys how I do my orc skin, and hopefully that will help you guys out. So next week's episode, it might go ahead, it might not. I may have a pro engagement I might not be back for, but I will try my best to live stream on the same day on Sunday. If not, we will always have another time where I can live stream, so don't worry about that. But I will do my absolute best to be able to live stream with you guys again. So, as always, everyone, thank you so much for attending. If you're watching this on YouTube or as a future viewer, thank you so much for taking the time to join me and watching my video. If you've got any requests in terms of what you would like me to see, what you would like me to paint, if it's a pink space marine, if it's X and Y, I will gladly do so. I will gladly. Any requests, anything, put on the Facebook comments, put on the Twitch comments, the Twitch stream, on the YouTube video. I will link my YouTube to below this video. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all very much for joining me in tonight's episode of episode 3. And one last thing, you may or may not have seen a certain foot that I posted up the other last night, and you may have seen it today. So that is for a secret project that I'm working on, which I would love to show off to you guys, but I need to look a bit more research into how I'm going to do this. But I can promise you, it's going to be something which a fair few of you may remember, but all I'm going to say is going to be fun. It's gonna be really fun. So I'll put it down to options. If you'd like me to do a step-by-step guide about painting this beast, please send a comment. Say I would love to see you step-by-step paint this beast, or if you'd like me to catch up, or if you'd like me to show you step-by-step, just not on a live stream, please say. But with that, with all that said, I hope you all have a lovely evening. Always make sure to keep your brushes intact. Wash the brushes. Always beat the chaos gods out of your brushes. And from myself to you, have a lovely evening. Have a great week. And I will see you guys next week. Mork or Gork, bless you.